Very specific, very concrete questions.
I thank you very much. I thank the students for those very interesting questions. Ground level assistance. First, why internship are unpaid is an issue. It's a real issue. I was also not aware of the gravity of this situation. Normally, an internship has to be paid because whatever work is done has to be, so to say, has to have a salary. And this is an issue that will be addressed. I have heard that not it's only the UN Secretariat. Other specialized institutions do pay some monies for to support the interns. And this is an issue that we have to address at the level of the General Assembly. And I can take up this issue during the conference as an issue to be addressed by the United Nations as such, to see how we can solve the issue, the problem. The situation is that at the end, it's only the developing countries which are, so to say, in a bad situation, which are not well treated there, because their states don't have the money to support them, and all is put on their expenses, and the UN is benefiting enormously from their work, because they are they take in charge of research activities, they even explore new solutions. And I think we need, I do 100% agree with you that we need to give them some support for this, and it's very expensive to develop such internship programs at the national expense, at the expense of the parents of the students themselves. Ground level assistance, yes, I will say these are good ideas, and the United Nations development programs do have activities in those in that field, but I don't know if all have the possibility to have a basement for such activities. But what I know is that they do support. They have development assistance. They do support ICT. For instance, whatever conference we organize in my country, United Nations is always ready to put in place a website for the conference, to put in place a cyber center to accompany the conference. And this is at the margin of the conferences. This can be extended to students. I think this is a good idea that we can also take into account. The issue being that the UN should be more active in developing practical programs to support young people.
Thank you. Over to Vancouver, and can I congratulate Vancouver, because I'm absolutely floored always to see how Vancouver gets up so early in the morning in the cold and the snow to join these video conferences so early. I don't know, it must be some unearthly hour of the morning in Vancouver, but congratulations to you for coming up and joining us as always. Over to Vancouver for 2 questions.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask the question, why does the UN not actively involve youths in decisions that affect their future lives, like the Disarmament Committee? These are going to affect us in the future. We're going to handle these decisions, so why shouldn't we be involved in the beginning of these decision-making policies?
The second question. Thank you. First of all, I just want to point out that most of the times youth don't get the support of their governments. But in general, developing countries like El Salvador don't offer youth any kind of financial aid as Japan does. So my question is, what is the UN doing to support those students with excellent capabilities that don't get any kind of help and or encouragement from their governments so they can improve their conditions of life? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent questions. The first question, sir, you are in the Disarmament Committee, and the question being asked is, why is youth not present in your committee, since they are the ones who are going to suffer the results of your decisions? And number 2, financial aid from developing countries. Developing countries have no money. If they had money, they wouldn't be developing countries. And since they have no money, obviously somebody has to help them and their students in particular. What is the United Nations doing to create a fund for students from developing countries who have, as the young lady said, excellent capacity, but no money in their pocket? What is the UN system for scholarships for deserving, excellent students from developing countries? Again, very concrete suggestions.
Yes, you're right, very concrete issues. The Disarmament Commission is an intergovernmental body, a deliberative body, and it's a deliberative body. It's a body which works with closed doors. There is an open part of it, but deliberations are held closed doors because it's supposed to be a meeting of assessing real challenges to peace and security in the field of disarmament. What young people do, even not being part of these bodies, the young people are mobilized around the world for disarmament. Young people, there are many NGOs which does mobilize the energy of young people to really speak in favor of disarmament. And I will say, the more we have pressure from the civil society for disarmament, the more the government will be sensitive and take the right decisions as regards disarmament. And I think there is a scope for, I would say, social engagement. There is a scope of, I would say, even political activity by young people to force governments to bring about their goodwill and their lofty ideas in the field of disarmament.
Can I ask a supplementary now? Has the Disarmament Committee ever thought of allowing youth NGOs to come and address the Disarmament Committee?
Even the civil society NGOs are not allowed. This is an issue. And I have been struggling, I have been involved in the Disarmament Commission since 2006. And one of my struggles is to bring at the deliberations of the disarmament, at the sessions of Disarmament Commission, to bring in NGOs to come and share their prospects with us. But never you will have an agreement of member states on that. They consider those issues to be highly security connected issues, and they don't allow NGOs to be directly involved in the deliberations. As regards the second question concerning the support, lack of support from governments to children, to students, this is a real issue. When I was young, I studied having scholarship since secondary school, and even university. I made my university studies with scholarships, and those possibilities are very, very limited now. Very, very limited because the governments don't. Developed countries are very reluctant now to give scholarship for basic university studies, because at the end, what I was talking about, that what happens is that the students who come at the age of 20, 19 to study in a foreign country, at the end they are accustomed to living in those countries after 6 years of study, 7 years of study, and they prefer to stay there. And that's why strategically it was thought that it's better to help develop facilities in developing countries, university facilities in developing countries, so that people can get their basic university studies, make their basic university studies at home, and then establish themselves, because at the those years where young people can set connections, can so to say orient themselves as to partnering with for life, as partnering for life, and after that they are sent usually abroad for master's degrees or for doctorate degrees, and this creates, I am sure, I will tell you more, so to say, conditions for